Hey there guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, make sure to hit the subscribe button. So it is 2018. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm actually saying that. Like, it's still taking me time to get used to. This is the very first video of 2018. I'm so excited and I'm so thrilled to share this video with you guys today. So today, of course, if you cannot tell, we're going to be covering the best of beauty in 2017, my favorite products from 2017. And in today's video, I'm mainly going to be focusing on makeup. I didn't want to go dive into skincare because I didn't know if you guys would even be interested in that. Let me know in the comments down below or in the poll up here if you guys would be interested in seeing the skincare favorites, because I kind of want to know what you guys want to see. I would love to get your opinion more in 2018 and see what you guys would love to see on my channel. But the stuff that I mentioned and talk about in today's video, it's going to be kind of repetitive because you've heard me talk about these products so much this past year on my channel. You've seen me wearing them in my description box in most of my videos. They're heavily used and talked about products, which is exactly what you want. You don't want to hear me talking about something brand new in this video, really. And I did try to stick to products that were only released in 2017. However, there's gonna be some products from 2016 that have fled over and that I kept using and that I still loved and just couldn't find something that was better than that. I would love to see how often you are able to guess what my favorite product is gonna be. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, while you're at it, make sure you guys go ahead and give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to future videos. Also hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload. I upload twice a week and I am sticking to it in 2018. Don't know what time yet, but stay tuned and make sure you guys had that notification bell clicked so you do get notified when I do upload. And if you guys are excited to see what my beauty favorites of 2017 were, then let's go ahead and dive right on in. I literally took some serious notes for you guys. Like, we are about to get real deep and heavy in here. So my favorite primer of 2017, let's say it all together, say it with me, the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. Who is shocked here, honestly? This is hands down like my favorite primer to ever grace my face. It fills in every single pore that I have. It leaves a nice airbrush flawless finish, completely blurring your skin, and you can wear it alone or underneath makeup. There are some days where I don't wear any makeup at all and I just need to pop out to the grocery store or something. I'll just swap this over my face and it just gives my face an even look to it. Has that photoshopped airbrush feel to it as well, and I love it because even though it does have that silicone texture, it's silicone free and dimethicone free. It actually has micro encapsulated powders in it that are going to help burst onto your face to kind of fill in those pores and give you that soft velvety touch feeling. It's not as slippery as like a silicone primer is, like the Benefit Professional or anything of that nature. I will say that I love that it's in a stick because it's super portable. However, it's not really like the best method for, you know, sanitation wise, so definitely recommend cleaning this. It's not going to damage it at all, but I absolutely love this stuff so much. I wear it underneath every single foundation. It looks amazing. But I do have another one that you guys probably weren't expecting. I did have another primer that came into my life later on in the year and that I started using with my more natural based foundations, because sometimes if I'm wearing a very lightweight foundation, the Blur Stick isn't the best one to use, simply because my more lighter based foundations are more water based, and using silicone primer with a water based foundation just isn't a good mix. So on my lighter foundation days, my favorite primer hands down was the Smashbox Primerizer. This is amazing for oily skin because you can use it as a primer and moisturizer in one. Like, if you're going quick out the door, quick makeup like that, this is a perfect primer slash moisturizer to reach for. It has hyaluronic acid and niacinamide in it. This niacinamide is going to help with any acne and pores, and then the hyaluronic acid is going to give you that extra boost of moisture into your skin. If you do have dry skin, this is a beautiful primer to use. However, I would recommend definitely using a very heavier, creamier moisturizer underneath. That way you had the extra hydration, especially right now in the wintertime where it's like literally 2 degrees outside. But I also like how thin of texture it is, and it really sits beautifully underneath my makeup. For foundation, again, this is going to be another one you probably are all going to guess. Say it with me, the YSL All Hours Foundation. When this baby came into my life, my world was changed for better. Oh my god, I have never loved a foundation this much. I know I raved about the Armani Luminous Silk and the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation. I know I raved about both those foundations, said that nothing could ever be Armani, but then YSL came in and stepped up the game. This little baby does every single thing I've ever needed a foundation to do. It's full coverage, has a demi-matte finish to it, it has an insane longevity to it. Oh my god, that's the main reason that I love this foundation so much, because I can wear this for 10 to 12 hours and it still looks like I just put it on. I I have it on right now, and I've had it on for a long time today, and it still looks like I just put it on. It really does a great job at controlling the oil. A lot of the times, especially my T-zone, I have very much a bacon grease skin type. I like to say it's super oily, and my T-zone and foundation hardly ever stays there, but this one does. After 10 hours, I still have it on, even underneath fluorescent lights all day, and sweating and humidity, all of the above, it really stays on. Plus, it's oil-free, has sunscreen in it, which you rarely find in foundations. A lot of the times, they're not going to be oil-free if they have sunscreen in it, but this one is. It gives you that nice velvety feel to the skin, and it doesn't feel heavy either, while also blurring my pores. Honestly, this is my holy grail. This is going to #1 favorite foundation ever. Like, this should have an award. Oh my god. YSL, you have done me proud, and I know Saint Laurent's one of my favorite designers and one of my favorite brands, but this foundation just blew me away, hands down. I also picked a foundation that's more lighter coverage as well, something that I usually wear off camera for everyday wear, and it was the Maybelline Dream Cushion Foundation, and I really love this foundation. It takes a lot for me to like a foundation from the drugstore because, like I said, I have super oily skin, and a lot of the times I find that whatever the ingredients are that are in drugstore foundations don't really do well on my skin. They don't really last that long. A lot of the times they'll last probably max 5 hours, and after that they'll start creasing, start caking up. It's just never a good fit for me. And then I found the Maybelline Dream Cushion. I did a first impression on this foundation and I absolutely loved it. For one, I just love the idea of cushion foundations, the fact that they're so portable. I can pop this in my purse, and if I don't feel like setting my face that day with the powder, I can easily take this with me and touch it up on the go. I actually really like applying it with the pad it comes with too. A lot of people don't like it, but I actually find that it really gives a nice dewy finish to the skin, but I also love using it with a beauty blender. I don't recommend using it with a brush at all. And then it also has a compact in it, and then you have the cushion foundation, which gives a nice kind of soft dewy skin. It really isn't too dewy where I feel like my oil is just going to melt off my face. It does a really good job at staying put, but also giving some glow to my skin. It's a perfect foundation, I think, if you are wanting a glowy foundation for oily skin. This is one I would definitely pick up. One, when I would travel and I just wanted to pop on a quick face, I didn't really want to put much effort into what I was going to wear, this is the foundation I was reaching for all the year long. I feel like I'm talking so fast, and there's going to be so many comments on this video that are telling me to calm the hell down. So for concealer, I feel like there's just one that I feel like hasn't gotten that much attention lately. I feel like it kind of got slipped under the radar this year, but I really love it. I feel like I'm one of the only YouTubers out there that ever talks about it. It's called Tarte Shape Tape. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's a really great brand, and it's a really great concealer. Obviously, like everyone else on YouTube, I am a freaking obsessed with Shape Tape. It's the best concealer I've ever came across. I am such a stickler for concealers because I am so picky on how my under eyes look. The last thing I want is them to look extra dry and crepey underneath there, especially with fine lines. This is the best one to use. You can use a little of it, you can use a lot of it, however much you want. It's great for, you know, if you want to do a highlighting, if you want to just conceal a little bit underneath your eyes, this is the best concealer to reach for. I feel like I don't need to ramble on about this. I feel like I don't need to ramble on about this concealer because everybody and their mother is talking about this thing. It is amazing, it is expensive, but this baby's worth it. I will repurchase this till the day I die. So for powder, this was the one category I feel like I experimented with the most this past year because I was really looking for a great powder foundation to use to really set my foundation. I typically don't reach for typical regular setting powders. They don't really do anything for my oily skin. They don't set anything in place. If anything, it just makes me look more cakey or crepey. So that's not what I really reached for. So when it came to a powder foundation, the one that I just fell in love with this year was the Becca Multitasking Skin Perfecting Powders. I love these. They are so freaking tiny, which is my only gripe. They're literally the same pan size as their blushes. So when you're using this all over your face as a setting powder, you're gonna run through it. But the thing that I love about these powders the most is how multi-purposeful that Becca made them. You can use them as a setting powder, but you can also find a perfect shade to make as a bronzer or a highlighter. I actually have it in another shade. I have the shade Tan, and I love using this as my bronzer. It's a perfect neutral brown shade to use on my fair skin. It blends in seamlessly. I believe that these did replace the Skin Perfecting Foundation powder from Becca, which was a lot bigger in size, I wish that they would make these a lot bigger because I do run through these very quickly, especially this one that I'm using all over my face. I run through it so quickly, but I love the subtle sheen it gives to my skin. It doesn't make it completely flat and matte. But I love the amount of coverage I can get with this if I use a damp beauty blender to put on top of my foundation. So there's days where I want to wear like a very light base and use this as my setting powder. Just taking a damp beauty blender and tapping it on my face, it will give it a little bit more extra coverage. Or I can take a simple setting powder brush and just dust it on my T-zone and I'm good to go. I definitely recommend trying these out if you have them at your local Ulta. I know that mine recently got rid of them, so I'm kind of upset about that, but definitely worth the order and the purchase for sure. However, I did stumble across one in my drugstore video that I did a couple months ago. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Powder, and I really love this loose powder. I'm so impressed with it. I do have the original Fit Me pressed powder in the translucent one. I used to use it all the time and stick it in my purse, just touch up on the go, but the loose powder version is a lot better, and I actually got one that has a tint to it, so it actually gives my skin a little bit more extra coverage. Not as much as the Becca one, obviously, but it does settle a little bit. It gives a nice little color to my skin, and it's perfect to use underneath the eyes as well. It doesn't crease. This is definitely a powder I like reaching for if I really want to bake, but I don't want to have that stark contrast whiteness underneath my eyes. This is the powder that I love to reach for. Very finely milled and really doesn't crease underneath my eyes either. So when it comes to bronzer, I actually have 3 that I need to share with you guys, and you're probably going to guess mostly all of them because I talked about these babies nonstop this past year. For cream bronzer, hands down, it has to go to Nude Sticks Bondi Bay. This is the most amazing cream bronzer I have ever used, and it's all thanks to Sam Ravindell and Jamie Page, honestly. I became a huge fan of Nude Sticks this past year. Obviously, if you saw my Nude Sticks video I made, you guys know that I just fell in love with the brand. I love everything that they do. I love all their products, but this particularly has become my favorite product from them. I typically can never wear cream contour, cream bronzer because they are so orange tone on me, or they're so dark that they don't look good on my fair skin, but this one is ideal. Like, it is the most perfect shade I could ever want in a cream contour. I really wish like I could show it to you, but I am like so gone of it. But it's just a nice, more yellow tone bronzing shade. It blends like a dream. It's super creamy, and I love the fact that I can just kind of swipe it on my skin, buff it out with a beauty blender, and be on the go. It really is great for neutral days. You can wear it on your eyelids as well if you want to have like a neutral brown shade to wear on your eyes. They're very multi-purposeful. They also have blushes in this range as well. They're super great, but the bronzer Bondi Bay, it's perfect. So for powder bronzer, it has to go down to the Hoola Lite from Benefit. I actually have it in the Cheekathon palette that I got back in the spring during the first VIB sale of the year, and the Hoola Lite has quickly become one of my favorite bronzers. You guys can see I went straight through it. It's a perfect bronzer for fair tones, which I didn't think it would be. I personally did not think I was going to like this bronzer. I thought it would be way too light and it wouldn't do anything. Just from a simple swatch, I thought that, but when you take a brush and you actually buff it out on the skin, oh my god, it looks so natural and beautiful, and it doesn't look muddy either at all. It doesn't look like you put on too much bronzer. It doesn't look too heavy. It looks so natural, which is what I love about it the most. But if you are fair toned, I definitely recommend trying this out, especially if you think that Hoola is too dark. I would really try out the light version because it won my heart over, clearly. I also have to give a shout out to the ColourFX Sunkissed bronzer. I quickly ran through this. I got this at the beginning of October, so it was just an impulse purchase. I had to go on a quick trip for work, and I didn't want to take the huge spray palette with me, so I decided to pick up the ColourFX bronzer in Sunkissed because it's very similar to Hoola Lite, and let me tell you, I love this, and I will definitely be repurchasing it this year. You guys can see, like, there's barely any left. Like, there's a slim rim, and I've had this since October, and I don't run through bronzers that quickly. That shows you how much I freaking love this baby. Use it every day. I have it on right now. It looks super natural on the skin. I love the way the ColourFX bronzers blend out too. They're super buttery, and you can easily build them up, which is one thing that I like. To have so much control over how much coverage and how much bronziness you want on your skin. Definitely beautiful, and I love the fact that they have 3 different shades in their bronzers. I definitely check these out for sure, especially if you're fair skin. The Sunkissed one's gonna be beautiful as well. Even the liquid version, I debated putting that in this video, but I just discovered it way too late into the year that I thought it would be cheating. But the liquid version of this bronzer as well is just as beautiful. My favorite highlighter this year, you guys know, probably. I think so. I talked about it pretty much a lot on my channel, then I had to stop because it was limited edition, which just breaks my heart so much. It's the Nars Banc Sable palette. I loved this palette when it came out over the summer. Oh my god, it was a dream come true. Let me just tell you right now, this is the most beautiful highlighter I have ever used right here. I haven't been sparingly using it because, like I said, it was limited edition, so I feel bad about talking about it right now. But if you like a high shine, but you hate glitter in your highlighter and you like a more glossy looking highlighter, this is the most beautiful thing I will ever come across. I know it's still available in Sephora Canada. I don't know why it's not available in the US anymore. And I know that in their Nordstrom stands that they have a different palette. I don't remember what it's called, but it has like 6 powders in it. It has a shade in here like these, but this is one of the most beautiful highlighters I've ever had. I really want Nars to release something permanently like this, and I know Kathleen Lights does as well because she has mentioned it in her favorites too. And if anyone out there has access to another one, hit a girl up. I do feel like I had to give a shout out to the Fenty Beauty Killawatt highlighters. I did love the Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal highlighter throughout this year. I will say that this is definitely a lot more pigmented and a lot more glittery than the Nars one, that's for sure. I typically reached for this one a little bit more just because it was a softer highlight and it kind of reminded me of the Nars one a little bit more. It was a little bit more glossy, whereas the Fire Crystal one has a lot more glitter in it. It definitely packs a punch as far as highlighter. It definitely is very, very glowy. However, if you have a lot of texture on your skin, you're not going to like this more chunkier one. And I like the double pan ones of the Fenty highlighters a lot more than the single pan ones, that's for sure. She has a large range of different highlighters as well. Obviously, I feel like this is one product, like I said, like the Tarte Shape Tape one, I don't need to ramble on much about because everybody and their mother has heard about Fenty. Let's be real. All right, so then we have blushes. And one thing that I feel like a lot of people just did not talk about this past year was the Anastasia blush trios. This is the shade Peachy Love, and I love these blushes. For one, you get 3 blushes for the price of 1, which is like a steal. I love that Anastasia does that. And that these blushes are super buttery as well. They're very pigmented, so I will say that I do have to go with a very light hand when I'm buffing them on the face, but that's what I love about them. You can really pack a punch with them. But I love how buttery they are, and the fact that you get 3 together, it allows for you to kind of mix them together, or you can use them each separately. I like to mix this more peachy one with this more brighter orange together to create the look I have on right now. They're super blendable, and they don't have any problem with skipping or anything like that. And like I said, you get 3 for the price of 1, and I definitely recommend checking these out if you guys have not. She has a huge selection of colors, and I definitely want to get some more of these for sure. So for eyes, I feel like this was the part that I struggled with the most, especially when it came to eyeshadow palettes. But before we dive into that, for brows, I did continuously still love the Dip Brow and the Brow Definer from Anastasia. Those were going to be 2 of my favorite brow products that I'm only going to use simply because they are the only ones I feel like that cater to redheads and can get it actually right. Benefit, I'm looking at you. For brows, I did find some new products this year that I actually really loved. One of them was the Sephora Clear Brow Gel. This has hands down thrown away and beat my Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. One, because I love how small the brush is. I can really get in there and lift all my brows and they really stay placed really well. The formula also is great. It's very similar to the Anastasia one, but it's half the price, which is what I like. And I like the size of the packaging overall. And then I also found the Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. This was really interesting to me, and I was really intrigued because it is a different kind of spoolie. It's almost like a flat paddle brush, and then it has tinted fibers in it and a tinted gel that you just brush onto your brows, so it adds extra hair, it gives them a tint, and this is really great for setting your brows, and it's also great if you want to wear it by itself. I do both. I sometimes will add it if I've already done my dip brow. I'll add this in there just to bring my brow hairs back to the surface so they don't look so fake and drawn on. But then there's days where I just don't want to wear anything on my brows, and I just take this in, brush it on, I'm out the door, ready to go to the grocery store. So now, for actual eyeshadow, this was the part that I struggled with the most because I feel like 2017 was the year of the eyeshadow palette. So many launched, and I had so many in my collection now that I just don't know what to do with them. And I really had to sit down and think, what palettes stood out to me the most? What did I continuously love to use? Because there were times where I would have so many palettes I'd get at once that I couldn't spend enough time with each one of them equally, and I was really struggling to figure out which ones do I want to use, which ones are great. And I didn't want to get one that was just all neutrals, but let's face it, that's all I wear. So when I thought about it, the one that I hands down have to give my favorite palette 2017 to is the Sephora Pro Warm Neutrals palette. I did a full video on this. I will definitely leave a link for it up here. But this palette really just changed the game for me, and I think you guys can probably tell how much I used and abused this thing. There is so much diversity with this palette that I love, and I know some people are like, well, you can just get the same thing with the Morphe palette for less the price, but you're not going to get the quality that this one has. I have never been so impressed with Sephora shadows before in my life. They are so buttery and creamy and so easy to blend out. I don't have to sit there and work to blend them out, and I don't have a problem with them being patchy at all and sticking to any places. They really are such an ease, and they're also super pigmented, especially the shimmers. They are insane. I did a full review and swatches video on this palette, so definitely go and check that out so you guys can see them if you haven't seen it. They also have a cool one and an editorial one as well, which has all bright shades in it, but the warm one was my favorite. Like, this is the palette I'm going to be using at my friend's wedding because I know I can get the look that I need out of it. And then on the affordable end, one of my favorite palettes that I actually traveled a lot with as well was the Colourpop Yes Please palette. I will say that this palette is very similar to the Sephora Pro palette in the color selection, but with the Sephora one you do get more, obviously. But this one is so good if you were on a budget but you love these shades. You get that red, you get the yellow, the golds, the oranges, everything that you would need mainly out of this palette is going to be in this one. The only difference I find is the texture of them. These are not as buttery soft, but I don't have a problem blending these out either. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell how dirty my palette is, but this thing is disgusting. But I think that just shows you guys how often I use this. I took this with me on so many vacation trips. That's mainly because I love the size of it, and I just love how easy this palette is to use. There's so many different looks I can get out of it. I can get my everyday eye out of it, but I can also get a really nice smoky eye too. So I'm really interested to see what Colourpop comes out with this year, and I really hope they make another one of these. And then for lashes, my favorite mascara, say it with me, the Lancome Monsieur Big Mascara. I love Lancome mascaras. They make some of the best mascaras in my personal opinion, but this one it beats all of them out of the park. It beats Too Faced Better Than Sex out of the park, which is like the most hyped up, overhyped volumizing mascara. I hate that mascara. It's so clumpy on me, whereas this one, it has the same exact kind of wand style to it, and I never have a problem with it being clumpy on me. It gives me that false lash effect, and I never wear false lashes. Like, I hardly ever wear them. I'm not good at them, and I don't have the time to sit there and be with them. So if you guys ever see me wearing false lashes, like, it's a big freaking deal. So if I want that false lash effect, this is the mascara that I love to reach for, because not only is it going to volumize my lashes without clumping them, it's also going to give me length and curl them too. I have it on right now, and it gives me that faux effect. Like, it just gives my lashes that fluffy effect to them, and I never have a mascara do that before without it looking clumpy and spidery. But for false lashes, if there's any out there that you are curious that I loved, the favorite ones that I have found out this year have been the Ardell Faux Mink 810 lashes. I will never not use Faux Mink lashes ever again in my life because there is nothing else like them. I love the style of these. For one, the ends of them are just what I like the most. The fact that they look so natural and they kind of gently taper out is what I love about most of them, and that's how traditional mink lashes are. These, on the other hand, are not as expensive as a lot of other faux mink lashes are. They're up there in the $20 range. These are only freaking $5 from the drugstore. More importantly, I love the styles of the 810s. The bands are so thin on this one, they're almost invisible, and the fact that they just fit onto my lashes with such ease, and I don't have to sit there and feel like I'm tugging at my lashes. That's what I like about these the most. And this has been the only false lash I've worn this year. So when it came to lips, I have a lot to talk about. I have every single category you could ever think of, so just get ready for it. When it came to choosing a favorite lipstick, I really looked at all the brands that I loved this past year, and one really stuck out to me. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's a really kind of like small brand, actually. I did a video for them, and it kind of, you know, it got some attention. It was pretty good. It was the Nude Sticks. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. These, oh my god. Like I said earlier in the video, I did a video for them this past year, which was the most challenging video I've ever done in my entire life. That video took me freaking 30 hours to film and edit. I don't even want to talk about it. But I love that video so much, and I love the lipsticks that were in that video. They all came from their Babe Boss Faves kit, which are all 5 lipsticks, I believe. I think it was 5. I don't know. I need to go back. My favorite one out of the entire kit that I love to use every single day when I'm not filming is the Nude Sticks Gel Color Lip and Cheek Balm in the shade Pulse. This is the shade that Samantha chose for the palette, but I love this one because it's a super glossy finish and it looks really natural on my lips. Mainly it's a My Lips But Better kind of color, and it's super easy just to pop on. It's a really high shine, but it actually is very pigmented. It's not too sheer, and it really stays on for a long period of time. I love the applicator. I love that Nude Sticks is very mobility friendly and that you can really just take these with you on the go. I love using this every single day when I'm not filming. It's definitely a handbag staple for me. And then another traditional lipstick that I love, my favorite one has been the Hourglass Confession lipsticks. One, the packaging of these lipsticks are absolutely killer. literally. You probably could stab somebody with this. You could probably stab all the boys that ever broke your heart with this. And I love the formula of these. They are super pigmented with one swipe. I don't feel like I have to go in too much and layer it up. And the fact that it's also a cream finish as well, I like that too. You don't get a lot of product in here, but I love the innovation that Hourglass had behind these lipsticks and that they're refillable. So all you have to do is just take the cap off, and all of a sudden you can change out the lipstick. So really, you only have to buy one lipstick tube and then just buy all the refillables, which are cheaper than the actual lipstick. So you can just change them out all the time. But the shade I'll Never Stop is one of my favorite brownie nudes that I love this past year. It's definitely more warmer than my pinky nudes that I usually typically go for. I'm wearing it right now and I love the texture of them. They last for a really long time on my lips, which I find rare for cream lipsticks, especially when I'm talking all day and at work. These really stay on and I love the wear of them. So for liquid lipstick, I have two and they're very different in formulation. One has to be the Bite Beauty Amuse Bouche Liquefied Lip. I have 3 shades right here, so if that doesn't tell you that I already love these, I don't know what will. I have Whip, Caramelized, and Candid, and I love these so much. They do not dry matte like a traditional liquid lipstick does, and that's what I like about them the most. They have a super creamy sheen to them, and they're very, very thick, almost like a more moussey texture, but you don't have them drying down matte, which is what I like. And the fact they stay on for so long at that cream texture is amazing. If you like the feel of their original Amuse Bouche lipsticks, but you find that they don't last long on you, I definitely would try out the liquefied version of them. They're very pigmented. One swipe, you get full pigmentation, and then the color range you have as well is amazing too. They smell like mint, so you get that nice minty feeling to your lips as well. They don't tingle too much, but you get that nice refreshing scent as well, so it definitely livens you up a little bit. But if I'm looking for a more traditional matte liquid lipsticks, my favorite that came out this year were hands down the Nars Power Matte Lick Pigments. Oh my god, the texture of these are impeccable. They are literally like water. They're so thin on the lips that you can barely feel them, and hands down, they stay on forever. I will say, when I'm eating and drinking, I feel like this is coming off my lips so much because you can see the transfer onto my cup and onto my fork. You can see that transfer. However, the color still stays there on the lips. Like, they don't fade at all, which is amazing. I've gone out eating and drinking with these before, and by the end of my meal, I'm like, good God, I'm gonna have to go touch up. I probably have a butthole lip going on right now, but the color does not fade. It transfers, but it does not fade at all, and I'm so happy about that. I love the shade range that came out with them as well. I have Don't Stop, which is a bright red. It's actually an exact dupe for the Fenty Stunna liquid lipstick. If you cannot get that in stock, I definitely would try out Don't Stop from Nars. It's the same exact red, and the formula is a lot thinner, and you can get that same opacity that she has with hers. And then I also have American Woman, which is my favorite mauve nude shade. These do not crack on my lips either, which is what I like. They do dry down matte, but you can barely feel it they're there, and I love that fact. And I also love the applicator, how pointy it is, so you can really get in there, define your line, and it's really simple and easy to use. Lip liners. Say it with me. Bite Beauty's lip liners hands down took over my affection for lip liners. I used to hate lip liners. I did not think they were important. I just stuck to buying the NYX ones and just said, hey, these are $3. They're going to do the trick for me. But these freaking changed the game. They launched so many different shades when it came out. And the fact that there's a perfect nude for me is what I love. And the reason is because not only can I wear it as a lip liner, but I also can wear it as a lipstick all over my lips. They're that comfortable. They're not too dry and they're very creamy, but they're super pigmented. So I will say that if you like to go with a very faint lip line, these are not going to be the ones for you because they do pack so much of a punch, and I can wear it all over my lips if I want to, very comfortably underneath the gloss or without a gloss by itself. It looks amazing. And then for lip gloss, I honestly found two this year that made me really fall in love with lip glosses. Typically, I'm not a huge fan of them. I don't like how they're sticky sometimes. Just never really was a fan of lip gloss. I just didn't like the extra step having to add on top of my lipstick. So I actually found two this year that I really loved, and they're universal for everyone. The first one is obviously the Fenty Gloss Bomb. This had so much hype out of it when it came out, and I absolutely really love this gloss, mainly because I love the fact that it's not sticky. The color is very universal. It looks really great on my skin tone as well as darker skin tones as well. It has a little bit of a glittery sheen in it, but it's not too noticeable and you don't feel the glitter chunks in it. Also, it smells like freaking strawberries. Oh my god. I honestly would not picture a lip gloss to feel like this one, but I really love it, and I love how big the doe foot applicator is on this one. Overall, the packaging of this is amazing too. I think this is the best product that Fenty hands down came out with when she released. And then for a clear gloss, I actually fell in love with this one. This was after I saw Lustrelux Katie when she did a video featuring this lip gloss. I immediately had to go out and buy it. It is the Too Faced Melted Latex Liquid Lip Gloss in the shade Girl on Top. It's just a clear gloss, and this has become my favorite clear gloss ever. I typically find a lot of clear glosses are very sticky. They really can get stringy and pull apart on the lips. I never have a problem with this one. It's super comfortable on my lips. The only con about having a clear gloss is that it just gets murky really quickly when you're laying it on top of lipstick. So that's the only downside I have to it, but I will definitely say that if you guys can get your hands on this one, this is the best one. So that is it, guys. That has been my 2017 beauty favorites. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below and what you guys' favorites are. If you guys loved any of these products, I'd love to know. Let me know down there in the comments down below. I do have a whole 2017 favorites series coming up, so make sure you guys are staying in tune for that. And while you're at it, make sure you guys go ahead and give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. Also hit that notification bell so you are notified when I do upload. I upload it twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays, so make sure you guys are tuned in for that. All my social media links are going to be located right up here, so make sure you guys head on over and check those out. And that is it for me today, guys. I hope you're having a great start to the new year and this year is amazing for you, and I will catch you guys later. Bye-bye!